Time is an inescapable feature of lived experience. It structures our lives in so profound a way that it's almost impossible to imagine a life not bound by temporality. Despite its inescapable presence, there is remarkably little scientific or philosophical consensus about the fundamental nature of time. What is time? Does time really pass? Why can we remember the past but not the future? Philosophers have been asking these questions for thousands of years. As philosopher Hugh Price points out, the philosophy of time is unusual even by philosophical standards for the durability of some of its main concerns. Examining the nature of time is in the wheelhouse of both physics and metaphysics, and between them, philosophers and scientists have made excellent progress, unpacking many of its important features. Nevertheless, on its fundamental characteristics, no consensus has been reached. Perhaps this is because physics is profoundly incomplete. Until scientists discover a theory of everything, many of our most important questions remain unanswered. Though scientists have not yet found this theory of everything, a task that occupied scientific giants such as Albert Einstein and Stephen Hawking, meaningful work can still be done in the meantime. We believe that as the frontier of science advances, we are travelling ever closer towards ultimate truth about the nature of reality. With this comes progress with regards to understanding the complex and nebulous entity that is time. My name is Emily Qureshi-Hurst, and I'm a DPhil candidate in Science and Religion at the University of Oxford. I work broadly in the area of physics and Christianity. A couple of years ago, I was introduced to an experimental physicist named Pearson, who wanted to examine the theological implications of a cutting-edge finding from quantum mechanics. This project is the result. Anna is a Christian working in science, and I'm an atheist working in the philosophy of religion. So we each bring a different perspective, as well as different methodological skills to the table. What we share is an interest in science and religion. Our focus on this article is the cutting-edge finding which we argue might just be the key to unlocking the nature of time. We believe that physics can meaningfully contribute to philosophical debates by bringing empirical evidence into the picture. Here, we do just that. After a general introduction to quantum mechanics and the approaches to time that occur within it, we dive straight into the specific finding with which we are concerned: indefinite causal order. This is our first field of study. With indefinite causal order in hand, we turn to the doctrine of salvation, our second field of study. Time and salvation are inherently connected. That this relationship has received almost no philosophical or theological attention is puzzling. Salvation requires change. An individual is transformed from a state of fallenness to a state of salvation. For such change to be possible, one needs a theory of time that can metaphysically substantiate such change. If time does not pass, then how can an individual change from being fallen at one point to being saved at another? It is clear that theology and physics both have a shared interest in the metaphysical questions that we present here. Our theological puzzle is this. A recent finding from quantum mechanics, termed indefinite causal order, seems to imply that temporal order is not fixed at the quantum level. This, we argue, offers empirical support for a B theory of time. A B theory seems incompatible with the kind of change required to substantiate a salvation transformation. So how should the theological formulations of the doctrine of salvation respond? We argue that solutions to this problem can be found in the literature on the philosophy of temporal experience. Put briefly, in the same way that we experience time as passing though it does not on the B theory, so too do we experience a salvation transformation as though it is a robust and objective change, though in fact it is not. In effect, given indefinite causal order and a B theory of time, we argue that salvation must be understood as subjective.